The little girl I babysit has an imaginary friend named Sarah, and Sarah is mean. Really mean. When toys go missing, the girl says Sarah took them. When the cat gets hurt, she says Sarah did it. When I find crayon drawings of stick figures with X's for eyes, she says Sarah drew them. The parents tell me to just go along with it, that it's a phase, but I've never seen a child so genuinely terrified of their own imaginary friend. My name is Jordan Limburg, and I've been babysitting 7-year-old Emily Hartwell for 6 months now in Edina, Minnesota. One of those quiet suburbs where nothing ever happens. The Hartwells live in a renovated Victorian on West 51st Street, the kind of house that tourists photograph during autumn. Mrs. Hartwell teaches at the University of Minnesota. Mr. Hartwell works late at some financial firm downtown. They needed someone reliable for Tuesday and Thursday evenings. I'm a sophomore at Normandale Community College, studying early childhood education. This job seemed perfect. Good pay, close to campus, and Emily was sweet when I first met her. Shy, maybe a little too quiet, but nothing concerning. That first night, she showed me her room. Walls painted lavender, shelves lined with untouched dolls, a window seat overlooking the backyard. "That's where Sarah sits," Emily said, pointing to the empty cushion. I smiled. "Your friend Sarah?" Emily's face went pale. "She's not my friend." The Hartwells laughed it off when I mentioned it. "Kids and their imaginations," Mrs. Hartwell said, waving her hand. "Just play along. She'll grow out of it." But there was something in the way she said it. Too rehearsed, like she'd practiced that exact response. Things escalated slowly. A week later, I found Emily's stuffed rabbit torn apart, stuffing scattered across the bedroom floor. "Sarah was angry," Emily whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I wouldn't play her game." The week after that, the family cat, a fat orange tabby named Pumpkin, limped into the kitchen with a gash across his side. The vet said it looked like claw marks, but deeper than any cat could make. Then came the drawings. I found them tucked inside Emily's coloring books, dozens of them. Stick figures with X's for eyes, always in pairs. One figure was always smaller, lying down, surrounded by water. The other stood above it, smiling. At the bottom of each drawing, written in a child's shaky handwriting, "Sarah remembers." "Why does Sarah draw these?" I asked Emily one evening. She looked at me with those wide, frightened eyes. "Because she's angry I got to live." Last night, everything changed. I arrived at 6 p.m. like usual. Mrs. Hartwell met me at the door, looking exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy bun. "Emily's been difficult today," she said quietly. "She keeps saying tonight is special. Just call us if anything happens, okay?" I found Emily hiding in her closet crying. "Sarah says tonight is special," Emily whispered from inside the closet. Her voice sounded hollow, like it was coming from somewhere far away. "Sarah says it's been exactly 20 years since she died, and that means she's strong enough now. Strong enough to not be imaginary anymore. Strong enough to take my place." I knelt down beside the closet door. Through the gap, I could see Emily curled up between hanging dresses, her knees pulled to her chest. That's not possible. Sarah isn't real." "Check the bathroom mirror," she said, her voice breaking. "Sarah wrote you a message." I didn't want to look. Every instinct told me to call the Hartwells right then, to pack up and leave. But Emily needed me to stay calm, to be the adult. I stood up slowly. "I'll be right back, okay? Stay here." The hallway felt longer than usual. The Hartwell house always had this particular smell, lavender potpourri mixed with old wood. But tonight something else cut through it. Metallic, sharp, like pennies left in water. The bathroom door stood open. I reached inside and flicked on the light. Steam covered the mirror. But nobody had showered. The tub was bone dry. The air felt cold, not warm. I stepped closer, my reflection barely visible through the fog. And then I saw the words, written in what looked like a child's handwriting. I'm not imaginary. I'm Emily's twin. I drowned in the bathtub when we were 3, and I've been waiting to come back ever since. Tonight I take her body. Tomorrow you'll be babysitting me. My hand shook as I reached out to wipe it away. The condensation felt ice cold against my palm. As I smeared the letters, something else appeared beneath them. A date, October 22nd, 2004. 20 years ago, tonight. I grabbed my phone and texted Mrs. Hartwell. We need to talk, now. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, I'm so sorry. We should have told you. On my way home. My heart hammered against my ribs. The bathroom suddenly felt smaller, the walls pressing in. I backed into the hallway and nearly tripped over Emily. She'd come out of the closet and was standing right behind me. She showed you, Emily said softly. Em, what your mom's about to tell me. I had a sister. Emily's eyes were glassy, unfocused. Her name was Sarah. They never told me, but I've always known. I see her in dreams. I see her in mirrors. I see her standing next to me in old photographs when I'm alone. How do you know this? Because she tells me. Every night. She says she drowned because Mommy looked away. Just for a minute. She says it should have been me instead. She says tonight, on the anniversary, she's strong enough to fix the mistake. I pulled Emily close, feeling her tiny body trembling. Nobody's taking you anywhere. Jordan? Emily looked up at me. What if Sarah's right? What if I was supposed to die that day? What if me being alive is wrong? Don't say that. Don't ever say that. We went downstairs to the living room. I kept Emily next to me on the couch, turning on every light I passed. The house felt different now, like it was watching us. The old grandfather clock in the corner read 6:47 p.m. How long until midnight? How long until this anniversary Sarah kept talking about? My phone buzzed. Mrs. Hartwell. 20 minutes away. There are rules. Check the kitchen drawer next to the fridge. The envelope. I found it exactly where she said. A manila envelope tucked behind takeout menus and grocery lists. My name was written across the front in neat handwriting. Inside, a piece of paper folded 3 times. The header read, Protocols for October 22nd. My hands went numb as I read the list. Rule 1. Do not let Emily see her reflection after 7 p.m. Cover all mirrors, turn off phone screens, avoid windows after dark. Rule 2. Keep Emily in well-lit rooms. Sarah manifests in darkness and shadows. Rule 3. If Emily says she sees Sarah, do not contradict her. Acknowledge Sarah's presence, but do not engage directly. Rule 4. Do not let Emily touch water. No drinking, no bathroom sink, especially not the bathtub. Sarah drowned. Water is her doorway. Rule 5. If you hear knocking from inside the house, do not answer. Sarah will try to trick you into opening doors. Rule 6. At 11:55 p.m., take Emily to her room and lock the door from the inside. Stay with her until 12:15 a.m. This is when Sarah is strongest. At the bottom, a handwritten note. We're sorry we didn't warn you. Please keep her safe. We can't lose her too. I looked at the clock. 6:53 p.m. 7 minutes until I had to cover every mirror in the house. If you like the stories, please hype the videos from a button like this just above the comment section. It helps the videos to get more reach and perform well. It would take just a few seconds and cost nothing, but would help the channel grow even faster. Thank you. I sprinted through the house like someone possessed. Emily followed close behind, watching as I tore sheets from the linen closet and draped them over every mirror I could find. The bathroom, the hallway, the full-length mirror in the master bedroom, Mrs. Hartwell's vanity, even the small compact mirror on the entryway table. "Why are we covering them?" Emily asked. "Your mom's instructions," I said, breathless. "No reflections tonight." The grandfather clock chimed 7 times. I was still in the living room, staring at the blank television screen. Would that count as a reflection? I grabbed a throw blanket and hung it over the TV, then did the same with the computer monitor in Mr. Hartwell's study. My phone buzzed again. "Mrs. Hartwell, don't forget the oven door, the microwave, anything glass or reflective." Jesus Christ. I rushed back to the kitchen. The oven door gleamed under the pendant lights. I found dish towels and taped them across the glass. The microwave got the same treatment. I even covered the toaster's chrome surface with a pot holder. "Jordan?" Emily stood in the doorway, hugging herself. "I'm thirsty." Rule 4. No water. "How about juice instead?" I opened the fridge, careful to angle my body so Emily couldn't see the stainless steel surface. "I think your mom has apple juice. I want water." "Juice is better tonight." I poured a glass of apple juice, my hands still shaking. "Trust me, okay?" Emily took the glass but didn't drink. She stared at it like she'd never seen juice before. "Sarah doesn't want me to have this." "Sarah doesn't get to decide." I kept my voice steady even though my pulse was racing. "Drink it in." She took a small sip, then another. Some color returned to her cheeks. We moved back to the living room where I'd turned on every lamp. The room blazed with light. Overhead fixtures, table lamps, even the decorative string lights Mrs. Hartwell kept wrapped around the bookshelf. Rule 2. Stay in well-lit rooms. "Can we watch something?" Emily asked. I'd covered the TV. "How about I read to you instead?" We settled on the couch. Emily picked a book from the stack on the coffee table. Some picture book about a girl who befriends a dragon. I read aloud, trying to focus on the words, but my mind kept drifting to the rules. The envelope sat on the cushion beside me. Those 6 protocols burned into my brain. At 7:23 p.m., Emily went rigid beside me, her eyes fixed on something across the room, the doorway to the kitchen. Her mouth opened slightly, like she wanted to speak but couldn't remember how. "Em? What's wrong?" "She's standing there." Emily's voice came out flat, hollow. "Sarah's in the kitchen doorway. She's wet. Her hair is dripping on the floor. Rule 3. Acknowledge Sarah's presence but do not engage directly." I looked at the doorway. Empty. Nothing but the dark kitchen beyond. "I see," I said carefully, "but we're staying right here on the couch." "She wants me to come with her." Emily's fingernails dug into my arm. "She says she wants to show me where she died. She says I need to see the bathtub. We're not going anywhere." She's pointing up the stairs now. She's not smiling anymore, Jordan. She looks sad. She looks so sad. I forced myself to stare at the empty doorway, to pretend I could see what Emily saw. "Tell Sarah we have to stay here. It's in the rules." I already told her. She says the rules don't matter. She says tonight she's strong enough to break them. Emily's breathing quickened. She's walking toward us. She's leaving wet footprints on the carpet. I saw nothing. No footprints, no dripping water, just empty space. Stay with me, Em. Keep holding my hand. Emily started to stand up, her eyes tracking something moving through the room. She's right in front of me now. She's reaching out her hand. She wants me to take it. I grabbed Emily and pulled her back down. No, you don't touch her. She's crying, Jordan. She's crying and saying it's not fair, saying I got to grow up and she didn't, saying I got birthdays and Christmas and friends and she got nothing. She got the bathtub and the water and the dark. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Mrs. Hartwell. Jordan, are you following the rules? Yes, all of them. But Mrs. Hartwell, what the hell is going on? You need to tell me everything. She took a deep breath. I could hear traffic in the background, the hum of the car engine. 20 years ago tonight, I was giving the twins a bath. Emily and Sarah. They were 3 years old. I left for just a minute to answer the phone. When I came back, her voice cracked. Sarah was underwater. Face down. She wasn't breathing. We tried everything. CPR, 911, the hospital. But she was already gone. They said she must have slipped, hit her head on the faucet. It happened so fast. Why didn't you tell Emily she had a twin? The therapist said it would be too traumatic. Better to let her grow up not knowing, not carrying that guilt. But the imaginary friend started when Emily was 5. At first, we thought it was normal. Kids that age make up friends. Then she started calling her Sarah. Then she started saying Sarah was angry, saying Sarah wanted her body back. This is insane. You should have told me. We thought if we just got through tonight, the 20-year anniversary, it would stop. The medium we consulted said spirits are strongest on milestone anniversaries. After midnight, Sarah's window closes. She won't be able to manifest anymore. You consulted a medium? We've tried everything, Jordan. Therapists, priests, psychics. Nothing works. Emily's been sick for years. The doctors can't find anything wrong, but she keeps getting weaker. We think Sarah's been draining her somehow, feeding off her life force to gain strength. I looked at Emily. She did look pale, fragile, like a strong wind could blow her away. How much longer until midnight? I asked. 4.5 hours. Just keep her safe until then. We're 15 minutes out. Hurry. I hung up and pulled Emily close. She felt cold despite the warm room. Her breathing seemed shallow. Jordan? She said quietly. Do you think Sarah's right? Do you think it should have been me who drowned? No, absolutely not. Mommy looked away. If Sarah hadn't been there, Mommy wouldn't have looked away. It's my fault Sarah died. Emily, you were 3 years old. None of this is your fault. But I lived, and she didn't. How is that fair? I didn't have an answer for that. At 7:45 p.m., the lights flickered. Just once, but enough to make my heart stop. Emily grabbed my arm, her fingernails digging into my skin. She's here. She's in the house now. The lights are fine. See? Everything's bright. But Emily was right. The temperature had dropped. I could see our breath now, small clouds forming with each exhale. The lavender smell was gone, replaced entirely by that metallic scent. Like old blood. Pumpkin the cat suddenly bolted through the living room, his fur standing on end. He yowled, a sound I'd never heard him make before, and disappeared under the couch. Emily's eyes went wide. Sarah touched him. She wanted to see if she could. She's testing how solid she is. Then, from upstairs, I heard water running. Someone had turned on the bathtub. "She's upstairs now," Emily whispered. "She's in the bathroom. She's filling the tub." The sound of running water echoed through the house, a steady, rushing noise. I grabbed the rules again, scanning them frantically. Rule 4. Do not let Emily touch water. Rule 6. At 11:55 p.m., take Emily to her room and lock the door from the inside. Nothing about what to do if Sarah turned on the bathtub herself. "We need to turn it off," I said, standing up. "That water bill is going to be—" "No." Emily's voice cut through my denial. "Don't go up there. That's what she wants. It's just a faucet, Em. Someone left it running." "Nobody left it running. Sarah turned it on. She's filling the tub because she wants me to see it. She wants me to remember." "You were 3. You don't remember." Emily's eyes met mine, and for a second, I saw something ancient looking back at me. I remember the water. I remember Sarah's hand slipping from mine. I remember her face under the surface, and I remember Mommy screaming. I've always remembered Jordan. They just told me it was nightmares. The water kept running. I could hear it from 2 floors below. A constant, awful reminder that something was upstairs. Something that wanted Emily. My phone buzzed. "Mrs. Hartwell, we're pulling onto the street now. Do not go upstairs. Stay in the living room until we get there." I texted back, "The bathtub is running." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "I know. Let it run. Don't go up there." The front door burst open. Mrs. Hartwell rushed in first, still in her work clothes, a blazer and slacks, her hair disheveled. Mr. Hartwell followed, a tall man with graying temples and worry carved into every line of his face. "Emily!" Mrs. Hartwell dropped to her knees and pulled Emily into a fierce hug. "Baby, are you okay? Did you follow the rules?" "Jordan covered all the mirrors," Emily said quietly, "and we stayed in the light. And I didn't drink any water." Mr. Hartwell looked at me. "Thank you for staying. We know this is a lot." "You need to tell me what's really happening here," I said. "Not the edited version. The truth." They exchanged a glance. The water upstairs continued to run, a soundtrack to their hesitation. "The bathtub has been turning on by itself for weeks now," Mrs. Hartwell admitted. "Always at night, always filling to the exact level it was at when Sarah drowned. Then it stops. Why didn't you call a plumber? An electrician? Anyone?" "We did." Mr. Hartwell's voice was flat, exhausted. "They said there's nothing wrong with the plumbing. No electrical issues. No leaks. The faucet works perfectly fine, except when it doesn't." "And the doctors?" I pressed. "What did they say about Emily getting weaker?" Mrs. Hartwell's face crumpled. "They've run every test imaginable. Blood work scans, biopsies. She's losing weight. Her immune system is compromised. She's exhausted all the time. But medically, there's nothing wrong with her." "Show her," Emily said quietly. We don't need to. Show her the pictures." Mr. Hartwell pulled out his phone. He scrolled through his camera roll and handed it to me. Family photos from the past few months. In every single one, there was a shadow. A dark smudge that appeared right next to Emily. Sometimes it looked vaguely human-shaped. Sometimes it looked like a child. "That's Sarah," Emily said. "She's been getting stronger. More solid. You can see her now, even in photos." I zoomed in on the most recent picture, taken just last week at Emily's school concert. The shadow next to her had definition now, A face, arms, the suggestion of hair. It looked like Emily. But wrong. Like someone had tried to draw Emily from memory and gotten all the proportions slightly off. The medium said tonight is the culmination, Mrs. Hartwell whispered. 20 years is significant in supernatural terms. It's when Sarah's spirit would be strong enough to attempt a full possession, to take over Emily's body completely. That's insane. You can't actually believe. I didn't believe either. Mr. Hartwell's voice cracked. Not until I saw Sarah standing at the foot of our bed 3 nights ago, dripping wet, staring at me. She looked exactly like Emily, except her eyes were wrong, empty. And she smiled at me and said, "Daddy, why did you let me drown?" The room felt smaller, colder. I looked at Emily, who sat on the couch with her arms wrapped around herself, looking more like a ghost than a living child. "What's the plan?" I asked. "You can't just sit here and wait for midnight." "That's exactly what we have to do," Mrs. Hartwell said. The medium was very specific. "We have to let this night play out. Sarah needs to attempt the possession and fail. Then her window closes. Her spirit will be too weak to try again. And if she succeeds?" Nobody answered. Upstairs, the water stopped running. We all froze, listening. The silence felt worse than the noise. At least when the water was running, we knew where Sarah was. Now she could be anywhere. "She's filled the tub," Emily said. Her voice sounded different, hollow, like an echo. "She's waiting for me now. She says the water remembers. The water knows what happened. The water wants to make it right." "Emily, don't listen to her." Mrs. Hartwell gripped her daughter's shoulders. "Stay here with us. Stay in the light." "She's not upstairs anymore." Emily's eyes went unfocused, staring at something the rest of us couldn't see. "She's coming down the stairs. She's leaving wet footprints, one step at a time. She's not in a hurry. She says we can't stop what's going to happen." I looked at the staircase, empty, just dark wood and the family photos lining the wall. But the temperature kept dropping. Our breath came out in visible puffs now, even with all the lights blazing. Mr. Hartwell grabbed a throw blanket and wrapped it around Emily. We stay together. We keep her warm. We keep her in the light. "She's in the hallway now," Emily continued. "She's standing at the bottom of the stairs. She's looking at us. She's not Sarah anymore. She's something else. Something that looks like Sarah, but wrong. Her mouth is open too wide. Her fingers are too long. The water changed her. Death changed her." "Emily, stop." Mrs. Hartwell's voice shook. "You're scaring yourself." "I'm not scaring yourself. I'm telling you what I see. What I've always seen, but you told me wasn't real." Emily's eyes focused on her mother. "You should have told me about her. You should have told me I had a sister. Maybe if you had, she wouldn't be so angry." "We were trying to protect you," Mr. Hartwell said. "You were trying to protect yourselves. From the guilt, from the memory. But Sarah never forgot. Sarah remembered everything. And she's been waiting in the water, in the dark, in the spaces between mirrors, waiting for tonight. Waiting to take back what she lost." Emily stood up, the blanket falling from her shoulders. "She's right in front of me now," Emily whispered. "She's reaching out her hand. She's asking me to come with her. She says it doesn't hurt. She says drowning is like falling asleep. She says we can be together again. We can be twins again." "Emily, no." But Emily was walking toward the hallway, toward something only she could see. Her hand slowly rising as if to take an invisible hand offered to her. I lunged forward and grabbed her wrist. The moment I touched her skin, I felt it. a pulling sensation, like something was trying to yank Emily away from me. Her skin was ice cold, colder than anything living should be. "Don't let go," Mrs. Hartwell screamed. Emily's eyes rolled back in her head. When she spoke again, the voice wasn't hers. "Let me have her. She's mine. We're supposed to be together. It was supposed to be both of us or neither of us. Mommy chose wrong." I held onto Emily's wrist, feeling that terrible pulling force trying to rip her away from me. Her body went rigid, muscles locked, and when she looked at me again, her pupils had blown wide, just black pools with tiny rings of hazel around the edges. "Let me have her." The voice coming from Emily's mouth sounded layered, like two people speaking at once. One was Emily. The other was something colder, angrier, drowned. Mrs. Hartwell grabbed Emily's other arm. "Sarah, please. We're sorry. We're so sorry about what happened. But you can't take her. She's alive. She deserves to live." Emily's head tilted at an angle. I deserve to live too. I deserve birthday parties and Christmas mornings and first days of school. I deserve to grow up. But I got 3 years. 3 years and then water and darkness and silence. Do you know what 20 years of silence feels like, Mommy? Baby, I know. You don't know. Emily's voice cracked into a shriek. You weren't there. You left. You left us alone, and you picked up the phone, and you knew you shouldn't have, but you did it anyway. And I slipped, and the water was so cold, and Emily kept screaming my name, but I couldn't answer because my lungs were full, and everything went dark, and you came back too late, Mommy. You came back too late. Tears streamed down Mrs. Hartwell's face. I know. God, I know. I think about it every single day. If I could trade places with you, I would. If I could go back. But you can't. Emily's voice dropped to a whisper. Nobody can. Time only goes one direction. Except for me. I've been stuck in that moment for 20 years, feeling the water rush into my lungs over and over and over. The only thing that kept me from fading completely was her. Emily's hand pointed at herself, or at the body she was inhabiting. She kept me tethered. We were connected before we were born, twins, two halves of one whole, and she's been keeping me alive this whole time, even though she doesn't know it. Her life force, her energy, her warmth, I've been feeding on it, taking just enough to stay solid, to stay real, and tonight, I'm finally strong enough to take it all. No, Mr. Hartwell stepped forward. Sarah, we loved you. We love you still. We think about you every day. We visit your grave every month. We celebrate your birthday even though you're not here. You're not forgotten. Liar. Emily's face twisted into something ugly. You buried me and pretended I never existed. You took down all the pictures of me. You packed away my toys. You told Emily she was an only child. You erased me. The therapist said, the therapist was wrong. Emily lunged forward with strength that shouldn't have been possible for a 7-year-old. Both Mr. and Mistress Hartwell stumbled backward. Only my grip on her wrist kept her from falling. You were supposed to remember me. You were supposed to tell her about me. But you were too guilty, too ashamed, too scared of the truth. The lights flickered again. Not just once this time. They strobed like a dying heartbeat, plunging us into darkness for seconds at a time. During those dark moments, I could swear I saw another figure standing behind Emily, a child-sized shadow reaching through her, arms outstretched. Sarah, listen to me. I kept my voice steady even though fear was eating through me. I don't know you. I never met you. But I know Emily, and she loves you. She's been trying to talk to you for years. She never forgot about you. Even when everyone told her you weren't real, she kept trying to reach you. Emily's black eyes fixed on me. "Who are you?" "I'm Jordan. I'm Emily's babysitter. And I need you to understand something. If you take her body, she'll be gone. Just like you were gone. You'll be trading places. Is that really what you want? To do to her what happened to you?" The pulling sensation lessened slightly. Emily's face flickered. For just a moment, I saw confusion there, instead of rage. "I don't want her to die," the voice said, quieter now. "I just want to live. I just want to be warm again. I'm so cold, Jordan. The water made me cold, and I've been cold for 20 years, and I can feel her warmth, and I need it. I need it so badly." "There has to be another way," I said. "What if we help you? What if we find a way for you to move on, to be warm somewhere else, somewhere better than this?" "There is no somewhere else." The rage came flooding back. "There's just the dark and the cold and the water and the silence. I've been alone for 20 years, and I'm tired of being alone." Emily wrenched her arm from my grip with impossible force. She stumbled backward into the hallway, and in the flickering lights, I saw it clearly now. The wet footprints on the hardwood floor. Small feet, child-sized, leading from the stairs to where Emily stood. "It's 8:30, Emily said in that dual-layered voice. 3.5 hours until midnight. 3.5 hours until I'm strong enough to complete the transfer. You can try to stop me. You can follow all your little rules. But it won't matter. I'm already inside her. I've been inside her since we were born. And tonight, I'm taking everything." Emily turned and walked toward the stairs. "Emily!" Mrs. Hartwell started to follow, but Mr. Hartwell grabbed her arm. "The rules," he said. "Rule 6. We're supposed to lock her in her room at 11:55, not before." "She's going upstairs. She's going to the bathroom. Let her go." His voice was hollow. "The medium said we have to let this play out. If we interfere too much, we might make it worse." I watched Emily climb the stairs, her movements strange and puppet-like. The wet footprints followed her up. When she reached the top, she turned and looked down at us. "You should have told her about me," Sarah said through Emily's mouth. "You should have kept my pictures up. You should have said my name out loud. Maybe then I wouldn't hate you so much. Maybe then I would have let her go." Emily disappeared into the upstairs hallway. We stood in the living room, frozen. The sound of Emily's bedroom door closing echoed through the house. Then, a moment later, the bathroom door opened. Water splashed. She was getting in the bathtub. "We have to do something," I said. "We can't just stand here." Mrs. Hartwell collapsed onto the couch, her face buried in her hands. "What can we do?" "You heard her. She's been inside Emily since birth. This isn't a haunting. This isn't possession. It's something else. Something we don't have rules for." Mr. Hartwell pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the medium. Diane Corhonen. She's the only one who understood what was happening." He dialed, put it on speaker. It rang 4 times before a woman's voice answered. "Gregory, it started, hasn't it? Sarah's taken control. She's upstairs in the bathroom. The bathtub. What do we do?" "Nothing." Diane's voice was calm, clinical. "You do nothing. This is the crisis point. Sarah needs to believe she can take Emily's body. She needs to push as hard as she can, to pour everything she has into the attempt. And then, at midnight, when the anniversary moment passes, her window will close. She'll be too weak to continue. The cosmic significance of the date will expire." "And if she succeeds before midnight?" I asked. Silence on the other end of the line. "Diane?" Mr. Hartwell's voice cracked. "Answer the question. Then you'll lose Emily. And the girl who comes downstairs will look like your daughter, but she won't be. She'll be Sarah wearing Emily's skin. And Emily will be the one in the dark, the one in the cold, the one in the water." The bathroom door opened upstairs. We all looked at the ceiling, tracking the sound of small feet walking across the hall. Back to Emily's bedroom. The door closed again. "What's she doing?" Mrs. Hartwell whispered. Nobody answered. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I found something in her room. In the closet, behind the stuffed animals. "You need to see this." Did anyone else get that? I showed them my phone. They shook their heads. Another text. "Come upstairs, Jordan. Come alone. Sarah's sleeping. Emily's awake. Please, I need your help." It was a trap. Had to be. But what if it wasn't? I stared at the text message. Another one appeared. "Please, Jordan. I don't have much time. Sarah's getting stronger. I can feel her pushing me down, down, down into the dark where she was. I'm scared. I don't want to drown like she did." My hands shook. "I need to go up there." "Absolutely not." Mr. Hartwell stepped in front of the stairs. "That's what Sarah wants. To isolate you from us, to break the rules. But what if it's really Emily? What if she's still fighting?" "It's a trick," Mrs. Hartwell said, but her voice wavered. "Sarah's manipulating you." Another text. "I found Mom's old journal from when we were babies. It explains everything. Why Sarah's so angry. Why she thinks Mom chose me. Please, before she comes back." "What journal?" I showed them the message. Mrs. Hartwell's face went pale. "I threw that away, years ago, after the accident." "Where did you throw it?" I don't remember. Maybe the attic? Maybe." She trailed off, uncertainty clouding her features. "I'm going up." I moved toward the stairs before they could stop me. If Emily's really asking for help, I can't ignore it. "Take this." Mr. Hartwell pressed something into my hand. A small flashlight. Extra light. "And Jordan? If Sarah tries to talk to you, don't engage. Don't make promises. Don't negotiate. Just get out." I climbed the stairs slowly, each step creaking under my weight. The house felt different up here. Older. Heavier. Like the air itself had weight. The wet footprints were still visible on the hardwood, leading to Emily's room. The bathroom door stood open, and I could see the bathtub, filled to the brim with water, perfectly still. Rule 2. Stay in well-lit rooms. I clicked on the flashlight. Its beam cut through the dimness of the hallway, illuminating family photos on the walls. I stopped at one, a professional portrait from when Emily was a baby. Mr. and Mrs. Hartwell sat on a couch, both holding blanket-wrapped infants. 2 babies. Twins. Someone had scratched out one of the babies' faces. Long, deep gouges in the glass. Emily's bedroom door was closed. I pressed my ear against it, listening. Nothing. Just silence. I knocked softly. It's Jordan. Can I come in?" "She's asleep." Emily's voice, but wrong. Too flat. "Come in quietly. Don't wake her." I opened the door. The bedroom was dark except for a nightlight shaped like a crescent moon. Emily sat cross-legged on her bed, surrounded by stuffed animals. She looked normal, just a 7-year-old girl in her pajamas. But her eyes tracked me with an intensity that made my breath catch. "Did you really text me?" I whispered. "Yes." She pointed to the closet. "Look inside. Behind the unicorn. There's a box." I moved to the closet, shining my flashlight inside. Clothes hung on tiny hangers. Shoes lined the bottom. And there, pushed against the back wall behind a large stuffed unicorn, was a shoebox. I pulled it out and sat on the floor. Emily climbed off the bed and sat next to me, close enough that I could feel how cold her skin was. Inside the box, a water-stained journal, several old photographs, and a hospital bracelet so small it could only have fit a newborn. "Open the journal," Emily whispered. "Page 17. I flipped to the marked page. The handwriting was Mrs. Hartwell's, but younger, shakier. October 15th, 2004. The doctor told us today that Emily's not thriving. Twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Sarah's been taking most of the nutrients in the womb. Emily's smaller, weaker. They might not both survive the pregnancy. The doctor asked us which one we'd choose if we had to. How do you choose between your children? How do you decide which one gets to live? Greg and I cried all night. We decided if it comes to that, we'll save whoever has the better chance. The stronger one. Sarah. Keep reading, Emily said. October 20th, 2004. Emergency C-section today. Both girls survived. Miracle. But Emily's in NICU. Sarah's healthy, perfect, crying strong. Emily's so tiny, struggling to breathe. The nurses keep taking her away for tests. I hold Sarah and I pray for Emily, and I feel like I'm betraying one by loving the other. October 22nd, 2004. We brought both girls home today. Sarah's thriving. Emily's still fragile, but the doctors say she'll catch up. I should be happy, but I keep thinking about what we decided in the hospital, that we would have chosen Sarah, that if we'd had to pick, Emily wouldn't be here. Does some part of Sarah know that? Does some part of Emily? I flipped ahead. The next entry was dated October 23rd, 2004. Something's wrong with Sarah. She won't stop crying, screaming. The doctors say it's colic, but it's more than that. It's like she's angry, like she knows what we said, what we decided. October 30th, 2004. Sarah's getting worse. She barely sleeps. When she does, she makes this horrible wheezing sound, like she's drowning. The doctors can't find anything wrong. Emily's getting better every day, growing stronger. But Sarah's deteriorating. It doesn't make sense. She was the healthy one. I looked at Emily. Your mom wanted to save Sarah, not you. She chose wrong. Emily's voice shifted, that dual-layered tone returning. They said Sarah was the strong one. They said Emily wouldn't make it. So when I drowned, when I died, I knew. I knew they picked wrong. The universe was correcting their mistake. Emily should have died in the womb. She should have died in the NICU. But she didn't. So I died instead. To balance things out. That's not how it works. Isn't it? Sarah's presence pushed forward, and I could see it now. A flickering transparency overlaying Emily's features. A second face, almost identical, but twisted with rage and grief. 3 years I lived. 3 years of colic and pain and feeling like I was drowning every time I closed my eyes. And then it finally happened. The water filled my lungs and I understood. I was supposed to drown. Not in a bathtub. In the womb. But Emily took my nutrients. Emily took my strength. Emily took my life. And Mom and Dad let her. They didn't let anything happen. It was an accident. Was it? The temperature dropped further. Ice crystals formed on the window. Mom left us in the bathtub alone. She knew better. We were 3. Too young to be left alone in water. But she answered the phone anyway. She made a choice. Maybe not consciously. Maybe somewhere deep down, she knew the universe needed to correct itself, needed to take back the wrong child. Emily's not wrong. Neither were you. You were both supposed to live. But we didn't both live, did we? Sarah's rage filled the room like a physical force. I got 3 years in a bathtub in darkness. She got everything else, and nobody even remembered me. Nobody said my name. Nobody kept my pictures. I was erased, like I never existed, like those 3 years meant nothing. I grabbed Emily's, Sarah's, shoulders. They meant something. They mean something now. Your parents think about you every day. They're haunted by you. They never stopped loving you. Love isn't enough. The lights blew out. The flashlight flickered and died. In the darkness, I heard water dripping. Love didn't save me. Love didn't keep me alive. Love didn't make them remember. And now it's too late for love. And now there's only this, taking back what should have been mine. Something cold and wet grabbed my wrist. Emily's hand, but wrong. The fingers were too long, too pruned, like they'd been underwater for years. "I'm not letting you go," I said. "Either of you. You don't have a choice." Sarah pulled, and I felt that terrible sensation again, like being dragged toward deep water. Emily's already fading. I can feel her slipping away. In an hour, maybe less, she'll be gone completely. And I'll be here, in her body, living her life. And maybe finally, I'll be warm again. "What about the journal?" I gasped. "What about these photos?" Emily found them. She wanted me to see them. That means she's still in there, still fighting. The grip on my wrist loosened slightly. "She's stronger than you think," I continued. "She's been fighting you for years. 7 years old, and she's been sharing her body with a ghost, with a sister she never knew she had, and she hasn't given up. She's still here, Sarah. She's still trying to reach you." In the darkness, I heard a small voice. Emily's voice, clear and separate. "Sarah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lived and you didn't. I'm sorry Mom and Dad made that choice. I'm sorry they erased you. But I don't want to die. And I don't think you really want me to die either. I think you're just lonely. I think you're just scared. And I think if we tried, we could help each other instead of hurting each other." The cold hand released my wrist. The lights flickered back on. Emily sat on the bed, tears streaming down her face. "She's listening," Emily whispered. "For the first time in years, she's actually listening to me." I checked my phone. 9:47 p.m. 2 hours and 13 minutes until midnight, and everything had just changed. I helped Emily stand up. She was shaking, her skin still ice cold to the touch. "We need to get downstairs. Your parents need to know what's happening." "Wait." Emily grabbed the journal and photographs from the shoebox. "They need to see these. They need to stop pretending I never had a sister." We walked to the door together. As we stepped into the hallway, I saw her, Sarah, not overlaying Emily this time, but standing separate, a translucent figure of a 7-year-old girl in a soaking wet nightgown, hair plastered to her skull, water dripping from her fingertips. She looked exactly like Emily, down to the small birthmark on her left cheek. "I see her too," Emily whispered. "I always see her. But this time, she's not angry. She just looks sad." Sarah's ghost watched us pass. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. She raised one hand, pointing down the stairs. "Go," she seemed to be saying. "Tell them." When we reached the living room, Mrs. Hartwell jumped up from the couch. "Emily, thank God." She stopped when she saw the journal in Emily's hands. Her face went white. "You kept it," Emily said quietly. "You told Jordan you threw it away, but you kept it. You hid it in my closet. Why?" Mrs. Hartwell's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. "Let me guess," Mr. Hartwell said, his voice thick with exhaustion. "She found the journal. She knows." "Knows what?" Emily held up the water-stained pages. "That you were going to choose Sarah over me? That I was the weak one? That I wasn't supposed to survive?" "Emily, sweetie, you don't understand. I understand that Sarah's been angry at me my whole life, because Mom and Dad wanted her to live instead of me. I understand that when she drowned, everyone thought the universe was fixing a mistake, that the wrong twin died." Emily's voice broke. "I understand that I've been living on borrowed time that should have been hers." Mrs. Hartwell dropped to her knees in front of Emily. No, baby, that's not what it meant. We were terrified. We were looking at losing both of you. The doctors made us think about the impossible. But the moment you were both born, the moment I held you both, I loved you equally. Both of you. Always, both of you. Then why did you erase her? Emily's tears flowed freely now. Why did you take down her pictures? Why did you tell me I was an only child? Why did you make Sarah disappear? Because I couldn't bear it. Mrs. Hartwell sobbed, reaching for Emily's hands. Every time I looked at you, I saw her. Every birthday, every milestone, I thought about Sarah, about what she'd be doing if she was still here. The therapist said we needed to help you move forward, that dwelling on Sarah would traumatize you. But we were wrong. We were so wrong. Mr. Hartwell came over, his eyes red. We thought we were protecting you from grief. Instead, we created something worse. We made Sarah a ghost in her own family. We made her invisible. The temperature in the room dropped again. Sarah's transparent form materialized in a corner, near the covered television. Water pooled beneath her feet, spreading across the hardwood floor. Emily turned to face her. I see you, Sarah. I've always seen you, and I'm sorry nobody else did. Sarah's mouth opened. This time sound came out, a wet, rasping whisper that seemed to come from everywhere at once. You stole my life. I didn't mean to, Emily said. I was just trying to survive. We both were, but it wasn't fair, the way things worked out. It wasn't fair that you died. It wasn't fair that they forgot you. And it's not fair that you've been alone in the dark for 20 years. Nothing about this is fair. Sarah's voice grew stronger, more solid. You got everything. I got nothing. I know. Emily took a step toward Sarah's ghost. And I'd give it back if I could. I'd trade places if it meant you got to live. But that's not how this works. Killing me won't bring you back. It'll just make both of us dead. At least then we'd be equal. Is that what you really want? Equality through death? Emily held out her hand. Or do you want something else? Something better? Sarah stared at Emily's outstretched hand. Water dripped from her ghostly form, each drop hitting the floor with an audible splash. What else is there? Recognition, memory, a place in this family, a name that gets spoken out loud. Emily glanced at her parents. Right, Mom? Dad? You can do that. You can remember Sarah. You can honor her. You can make her visible again. Mrs. Hartwell nodded, tears streaming down her face. Yes. Yes, we can. We should have done it years ago. But it's too late, Sarah's image flickered, becoming more transparent. I'm too far gone. I'm more water than spirit now, more rage than memory. I don't know how to be anything else. Then let us help you learn. I stepped forward, surprising myself. Sarah, I never met you when you were alive, but I've seen what you've become. And yeah, you're angry. You have every right to be angry. But you're also still a little girl. A little girl who drowned and got forgotten and spent 20 years in the dark. That's not who you have to be forever. What else can I be? Sarah's voice cracked. I'm dead. I've been dead for 20 years. You can be remembered, I said. You can be loved. You can be part of this family, even if you're not alive. But only if you let go of Emily. Only if you stop trying to take what isn't yours to take. Sarah looked at Emily. Really looked at her. Like she was seeing her sister for the first time. You're sick because of me. I've been feeding off you since we were born. That's why the doctors can't figure out what's wrong. I'm what's wrong. Emily nodded slowly. I know. If I let go, you'll get better. Maybe. But if I let go, I'll fade completely. Without your life force to anchor me, I'll disappear. I'll be gone. Really, truly gone. Or, Mrs. Hartwell said, her voice shaking, you'll move on. To wherever we're supposed to go after we die. To somewhere warm and bright and peaceful. Somewhere without water and darkness. You don't know that. Sarah's form grew more solid, more defined. You don't know what's waiting. It could be worse than this. It couldn't possibly be worse than what you've been living, Mr. Hartwell said. 20 years in the space between life and death, feeding on your sister's life force, consumed by rage. Sarah, honey, that's not existing, that's suffering, and we're asking, no, we're begging, please let us help you end the suffering. The grandfather clock began to chime. 10 o'clock. 2 hours until midnight. Sarah's image flickered violently. I'm scared. I've been here so long. This anger is all I have left. If I let it go, what's left of me? Love, Emily said simply. Love is what's left. Mom and Dad love you. I love you, even though I never got to know you. And if you let go, if you move on, that love goes with you. It doesn't stay behind. Sarah drifted closer to Emily. Up close, I could see the details. The blue tint to her lips. The pruned texture of her skin. The way her eyes looked clouded, like someone who'd been underwater too long. If I let go, you promise you'll remember me? You'll say my name. You'll tell people I existed. Every day, Mrs. Hartwell promised. Every single day. We'll put your pictures back up, Mr. Hartwell added. We'll visit your grave together. As a family. All of us. And I'll talk to you, Emily said. I'll tell you about my day. About school and friends and everything I do. You won't be forgotten again, I promise. Sarah reached out her hand. Her fingers passed through Emily's, cold and wet, but somehow gentle. I wanted to hate you. For 7 years, I tried so hard to hate you. But I couldn't. Because you're me. You're the part of me that survived. And hating you was like hating myself. I know, Emily whispered. I felt you inside me, fighting with me, sharing my body. And I never hated you either. I was just scared. I was scared too. They stood there, ghost and living girl, hands overlapping even though they couldn't truly touch. Sarah's form began to glow softly, the water that constantly dripped from her slowing, then stopping. The anniversary, Sarah said. It's not about taking your body. It's about choosing. I get to choose whether to stay or go, whether to keep fighting or let go. That's why tonight is powerful, because for the first time in 20 years, I have a choice. "So what do you choose?" Emily asked. Sarah looked at her parents, then at me, then back at Emily. "I choose." The lights went out. All of them. Every bulb in the house shattered simultaneously, and in the darkness, something else spoke. Something that wasn't Sarah. "She doesn't get to choose." "I do." In the absolute darkness, I fumbled for my phone. The screen wouldn't turn on. Dead. Mr. Hartwell tried his... Same thing. Mrs. Hartwell's phone was completely unresponsive. "Who said that?" Mrs. Hartwell's voice shook. "Sarah?" "Not Sarah." The voice was deeper, masculine, angry in a way that made Sarah's rage seem like a tantrum. "Sarah's weak. She was always weak, ready to forgive, ready to move on. But I'm not." Emily screamed. Not her voice, not Sarah's either. A third scream, reared beneath both of theirs. "Oh my God." Mrs. Hartwell's gasp cut through the darkness. "No, no, 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 it can't be." "Can't be who?" I asked. "Jacob." Mr. Hartwell's voice cracked on the name. The third baby. The one who never took a breath. Third? Emily was a triplet. He was stillborn. Mrs. Hartwell was crying now. During the emergency C-section, 2 healthy heartbeats on the monitors, but when they opened me up, there were 3 babies. Jacob was... he was already gone. No heartbeat, no breath. He never even opened his eyes. They wrapped him in a blanket and took him away, and we never spoke of him again. "You buried me like garbage." The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. Didn't even give me a name on the stone. Just Infant Hartwell. Like I didn't matter. Like I was nothing. The darkness grew thicker, more oppressive. I felt something move past me, a presence without form, cold enough to hurt. "Sarah got 3 years," the voice continued. "Emily got 7 and counting. I got nothing. Not 1 second. Not 1 breath. Not even acknowledgement that I existed. The doctors said I'd been dead for weeks before the birth. Weeks of floating in the dark, while my sisters took everything. The nutrients, the space, the life. They absorbed me, used me up, and nobody cared. Sarah's glowing form reappeared, but dimmer now, flickering. Jacob, I didn't know you were there. I didn't know." "Of course you didn't know." The temperature plummeted. Frost spread across the walls. Nobody knew. Nobody bothered to look. The doctors didn't catch it until too late. Mom and Dad never spoke my name. I've been in the void for 20 years. Not even the dark like Sarah. Not even the cold water. Just nothing. Absolute nothing. Do you know what that's like? To never have existed. To have never drawn breath but still be conscious, still be aware. "Jacob, I'm so sorry." Mrs. Hartwell reached toward the darkness. "Sorry isn't enough." Something slammed into the wall, a picture frame. It shattered, glass sprang across the floor. "Sorry doesn't give me life. Sorry doesn't make me real. But tonight I finally have enough power. Sarah's anniversary made her strong, and her strength leaked into me. We're connected. Triplets. 3 souls bound together before birth. And when she reaches for the living world, she opens a door I can walk through." Emily collapsed. Sarah's ghost rushed to her, trying to hold her, but her hands passed through. "What are you doing to her?" "Taking what should have been mine. What you both stole. I'm going to drain Emily completely, and when she's empty, when there's nothing left, I'm going to step into her body, and this time, I'll get to live. I'll get to breathe. I'll get to exist. You'll kill her. Sarah's voice was desperate now. Jacob, please. Why should I care? You were going to kill her too. You were going to take her body. You're just angry I got there first. No. Sarah's form solidified, becoming more real than I'd ever seen her. I was wrong. I was so angry, so consumed by what I lost, I couldn't see past it. But Jordan made me understand. Emily made me understand. We don't have to hurt each other. We can help each other. Help? A bitter laugh echoed through the room. You want to help. Then give me your strength, Sarah. Give me your 20 years of existence. Let me have what you're willing to throw away. If I do that, will you let Emily go? Sarah, no. Emily's voice was weak, fading. Will you? Sarah pressed. Silence. Then, yes. If you give yourself to me, I'll take your place. I'll be the ghost. You'll fade, and I'll anchor to Emily instead. She'll live. I'll haunt. Fair trade. Don't do it, I said. Jacob, there has to be another way. Your parents can remember you too. They can honor you. They can... I don't want to be remembered. The rage in his voice made the floor vibrate. I want to be. I want to breathe and eat and laugh and cry and feel sunshine and rain and everything you people take for granted. I've had nothing for 20 years, less than nothing, and now I finally have a chance. Mr. Hartwell's voice cut through the darkness. Son, Jacob, I know we failed you. We should have given you a proper funeral, a proper grave, a name on a stone. We were drowning in grief. We lost you, and Sarah was in critical condition, and Emily was fighting for her life. We made terrible choices. But this isn't the answer. Taking Emily's life won't give you yours back. Won't it? Her body is empty enough now. I can feel it. Sarah's been hollowing her out for years. There's room for me now. Room for someone new. Emily's breathing had gone shallow. I crawled across the floor until I found her, pulling her into my lap. She was so cold, so fragile, like holding a bird with a broken wing. Jacob, I said, keeping my voice steady. If you take Emily, you'll be just like your parents. You'll be a person who sacrificed one child to save another. You'll be making the same choice they did. Is that really who you want to be? The darkness hesitated. They chose Sarah over Emily in the hospital, I continued. You're choosing yourself over Emily now. You're doing exactly what you're angry at them for doing. You're deciding who deserves to live and who doesn't. You're playing God. I'm not playing God. I'm demanding justice. No, you're demanding revenge. There's a difference. I held Emily tighter. Justice would be being acknowledged, being remembered, being mourned. Revenge is taking everything from Emily because everything was taken from you. Justice makes things right. Revenge just makes more victims. She took my nutrients. She took my space. She took my dash dash. She was a fetus. She didn't choose anything. My voice rose. None of you chose this. Emily didn't choose to absorb your nutrients. Sarah didn't choose to drown. You didn't choose to die before birth. But you're all acting like someone's to blame, like someone made a conscious choice to hurt you. But nobody did. It was biology and tragedy and terrible luck. Nothing more. The cold presence circled us. I could feel it considering, weighing. Jacob. Mrs. Hartwell's voice was soft now, broken. If you're listening, if you can hear me, I want you to know I held you for 2 hours after you were born. I held you, and I cried, and I told you I loved you. You weren't garbage. You were my son. You were my baby. And losing you broke something in me that never healed. I think about you every time I look at Emily. Every time I remember Sarah. You're part of my grief, part of my love. You always have been. Then why didn't you tell anyone about me? Because it hurt too much. Because I was a coward. Because I couldn't face the reality that I had 3 children and only one survived. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The grandfather clock chimed. 11 o'clock. 1 hour until midnight. I'm tired, Jacob's voice said, smaller now, less angry. I'm so tired of being nothing, of being void. I just want to rest. I just want it to stop. Then let go, Sarah said. Both of us, together. We can move on together. Emily gets to live, and we get to find peace, real peace, not this half-existence. Will it hurt? Jacob asked. Moving on? I don't know, Sarah admitted. But it has to be better than this. It has to be. Emily stirred in my arms. Jacob, I never met you, but I'm sorry I took what should have been yours. I'm sorry you never got a chance. And I promise, if you let me live, I'll tell everyone about you. You'll never be forgotten again. Neither of you. In the darkness, 2 small lights appeared. Sarah's ghost, glowing soft blue, and next to her, another figure, smaller, translucent, flickering like a candle flame. A baby. Jacob. Together? Jacob's voice was just a whisper now. Together, Sarah said. She reached out her hand. This time, when Jacob reached back, their hands touched. Really touched. The light grew brighter. The light grew so bright I had to close my eyes. I felt warmth spreading through the room. Real warmth. Not the artificial heat of lamps, but something deeper. Something alive. When I opened my eyes again, the lights were back on. Every bulb in the house glowed steadily. No flickering. No dying. Sarah and Jacob stood together in the center of the living room, hand in hand, both glowing with that same warm light. They looked peaceful. Sarah's hair was dry now, her skin no longer blue-tinged. Jacob was bigger than a baby, maybe 3 years old, the age he would have been if he'd lived. Both of them smiled. Thank you, Sarah said, looking at Emily, for fighting me for so long, for not giving up, for being strong enough for both of us. Thank you, Jacob echoed, looking at his parents, for telling the truth, for finally saying my name. Mrs. Hartwell sobbed, reaching toward them. I love you both. I'm so sorry. We know, Sarah interrupted gently. We've always known. We were just too angry to feel it, too scared, but we feel it now. The grandfather clock began to chime midnight. 12 chimes, the anniversary moment, the time when Sarah was supposed to be at her strongest, when she was supposed to complete the possession. Instead, she and Jacob began to fade. Not disappearing. Transforming. The light that surrounded them grew softer, gentler, spreading outward until it filled the entire room. I felt it wash over me like warm water. Nothing like the cold, drowning sensation Sarah had carried before. We'll be okay, Sarah said, her voice growing distant. Both of us. Together. Tell everyone, Jacob added. Tell them we existed. Tell them we mattered. Every day, Emily promised, tears streaming down her face. Every single day. The light flared once more, bright as sunrise. Then it faded, leaving only the ordinary glow of the living room lamps. Sarah and Jacob were gone. Emily gasped, a huge, shuddering breath like someone surfacing from deep water. Color flooded back into her cheeks. Her skin warmed under my hands. She sat up, looking around with clear, focused eyes. "They're really gone," she whispered. "I can't feel them anymore. I can't feel Sarah pushing against me. I can't feel Jacob draining me. They're just gone." "How do you feel?" I asked. Emily thought about it. "Lighter. Like I've been carrying something heavy my whole life and didn't realize it. Like I can finally breathe all the way." She looked at her parents. "Can we go to their graves tomorrow? I want to see them. I want to bring flowers." Mrs. Hartwell nodded, wiping her eyes. Yes, of course. We'll go as a family." "And can we put their pictures back up? All of them?" "All of them," Mr. Hartwell agreed. "They deserve to be remembered. To be part of this family, even if they're not here." I checked my phone. It turned on immediately, battery still at 47%. The time read 12:03 a.m. October 23rd, the anniversary had passed. I kept babysitting for the Hartwells after that night. Emily got better, really better. Her color returned, her energy came back. The mysterious illness that had plagued her for years simply vanished. The doctors called it a miracle. The Hartwells and I knew better. They put Sarah's and Jacob's photographs back on the walls, added their names to the family Christmas card. The Hartwell family. Gregory, Michelle, Emily, and in loving memory of Sarah and Jacob. They visited the cemetery every Sunday, and Emily would sit by the graves and tell her siblings about her week. But that's not the end of the story. Last Tuesday, Emily came downstairs for breakfast with a strange look on her face. "Mom," she said quietly, "I had a dream last night. About a boy. He said his name is Thomas." Mrs. Hartwell went pale. "What did you say?" "Thomas. He was in my room, standing by the window. He looked sad. He said he's been waiting even longer than Sarah and Jacob. He said," Emily's voice dropped to a whisper, "he said he was the first one. The one before the triplets, the one nobody even knew about." I watched as Mr. Hartwell pulled up something on his phone, medical records from before Emily was born. His hands shook as he scrolled. "Miscarriage," he breathed. 2 years before the triplets. Early first trimester. We never knew the gender, we never named it. Never thought about it as a real baby. Just a loss. Emily nodded slowly. "Thomas says it's okay that you didn't know. He says he forgives you, but he says he's been alone a really long time, and he's ready to move on too. He just needs the same thing Sarah and Jacob needed." She looked at me with those wide, haunted eyes. "He needs us to remember him, to say his name, to acknowledge he existed." Mrs. Hartwell's face crumpled. "How many more? How many more children did we lose and forget?" Nobody answered, because nobody knew.